everybody. Well, it's been a little bit of time since you've seen an update on the F250, and obviously that's the 318 you're looking at. But there's been quite a few things that have been going on with the truck and a lot of progress. And the first thing I'm going to show you is the bed. And here's a couple pictures of what the bed used to look like before we painted the underneath. Okay, so I'm going to show you what the bed looks like now after it was primed and painted black. Now it's a little bit, tiny bit dusty because of it being in here, and we've been sanding the truck a little bit, but here's what the bed looks like now. And this is what the underneath of it is, obviously. And the other side is not done yet, but this is the part that needed done first because, well, you can't really do it when it's on the truck. But this is ready to go, and it's been primed and painted with Rust-Oleum paint. Came out pretty good, really smooth, and the water and whatever should just run right off of that, hopefully. And now the next thing is going to be the truck. As you can see, there's a bunch of plastic in here going from the ceiling all the way down to the floor. And, well, let's just say the truck's all undercoated now. So here's a couple pictures of what that used to look like before. And sadly, I didn't get any pictures or anything of it primed, but you'll be able to see what the primer looks like from this. So anyways, here's a couple pictures of that. And now, here is what the truck actually looks like with the frame undercoated. A whole lot different and a whole lot better. And you can see the bumpers on it and ready to go. Trailer hitch is plugged in. That there, I mean. And the lights are plugged in again in here. So that's pretty much ready to go. And I need to clean that a little bit. But the bumper, if you're wondering, I have a couple pictures of what this looked like as well, primed and everything. And this is all painted black too. So just everything that I could get, that wasn't, everything that was going to possibly rot, like the backside of the chrome. And this is the old original bumper, if you can't tell. Since you remember, I got a new one with that bed, but I couldn't use it because for the spare tire. The holes here, and the other one that I got is on this side, so I couldn't use it, which kind of sucks. But this bumper is like twice as heavy as the new one is, the newer style one, so that's fine by me. And this one actually looks a little better. So, but there's been quite a bit done on this thing. As you can see, it's all undercoated, and this was primed and painted just the same as the bed was. And under here, you can see there's a bunch of spray foam. This is where it was all, there's holes and stuff on this side. There's nothing on this side, obviously, but there was rust holes in there because, just what happens. But that spray foam works really well at filling the gap, and it keeps the water and moisture out. But before we put this on here, it was primed and a coat of paint was stuck in there too. So, but this spray foam actually keeps moisture out pretty good. It sticks to everything. So that's on this side. This side's the worst. The other side's not as bad. That is what this side is. But this side was done as well. You can probably see some of it. But everything under here is painted except for just a little bit of the front end stuff. But that's going to be done probably this weekend. And then the whole thing will be done. It will be painted. And this thing actually came out really nice. Pretty smooth for how pitted it was, which is good. And what else was I going to say? Oh. And it has new shocks on the rear end now. because the old ones were pretty bad. I'll show you those in a minute. Those versions were really bad. So, but you're wondering why the tire's not on this side yet. The brakes back here are done as well. That side the brakes are done. This side we have a problem. The caliper, the old one, the one side of it was seized, so I had to go buy a new one of those, which, the way it is. But we tried forever. Usually you're able to just push them with a clamp and squeeze them back into where they're supposed to go to put them back on. That one did not move. It was completely seized. So we actually bent 2 clamps trying to do it. But unfortunately, well, fortunately, you know, I had to get a new one. So, but my dad put that on last night. He said it went right back on easily. Like 2 seconds. You don't even want to know how long it took us to get him back in that side. A little bit longer. I mean, my dad's done brakes, but he said it's been a while. So, but he remembered pretty quickly. But this is all done, and all we have to do on this side. The reason why the tire's still off is we have to bleed the brakes. But that won't be too bad. You can probably see how much fluid's on the floor. But it was dripping because there was no caliper on it. But we have to bleed them, and that'll be good. And then we still have to do the front brakes and the front shocks, but we want to get back here done. But I was kind of wondering, I was thinking for some reason, even though I knew, why the thing was kind of angled a little bit, just because of it's sitting on blocks. It must not be completely level. I guess it's not. I can see it now. But the one other problem we found that we weren't quite expecting is, I'm not sure if you can tell the difference in between the thickness of those two shock holders. This one, if I can get my finger in the right spot, that one right here is pretty rusted through. And there's not really much holding that side of the shock compared to the other side. Oops, sorry. That one's fine, and the other side's fine as well. But yeah, unfortunately, I was chipping away some rust around it, and I was like, oh, it was like flaky a little bit. I was like, oh, I got my fingernail behind it and popped it off, and there's a huge chunk of it. I was like, oh crap. So you can actually probably see there's a hole in it. And it should be alright enough just to get it over to get it fixed, but I'm hoping we'll see what he can do is just cut the shape of that out and then just weld it to that, like even where the rust hole is, plug weld it, and then rod it back to the axle again. And it should be alright. I'm hoping that's what he can do. And because, I mean, the bolt we have on there is plenty long enough, so it doesn't matter. But surprisingly, those rear shocks, the bolts up here actually came out pretty easily. We didn't really know if they were or not. But they actually budged, and they weren't too bad. But I don't know if I told you, but believe it or not, this spare tire holder, this thing actually works still. We were kind of wondering if it was or not, because just the way everything else looked on here. But it actually wasn't seized or nothing, it worked fine, so thank God. But everything else has been about the same with the radios out of it, because I was messing with it one day whenever this thing was running, and well, I was having a problem with this side didn't work, the speaker, and then I messed with it a little bit, and then that side wouldn't work, and now both won't because the wire came out, the power wire came out, so it wasn't connected quite good enough. But there's a spare tire, or this tire for this side. Speaking of tires, the spare tire is in the house, and that was primed and painted and everything as well. And believe it or not, it still has air in it, which is kind of funny and unbelievable. But I'll throw a couple pictures of that in right here. And as well, as you hear me yakking, trying to think if there's anything else. Not really that I can think of. But yeah, I didn't have any video or anything of priming this or painting it. I wanted to, but we just kind of went ahead and did it. And I mean, you were going to see a whole lot anyways, and who wants to watch paint dry? You know, I mean, some people would have probably wanted to see it, but I think being able to see what it looks like before and after, like just like that, is kind of cool. So hopefully, seeing the pictures and then seeing this will show you just how much better it actually looks. And I feel much better because this thing is protected now. I had to go through last Friday, and resand the whole thing again. Today's Friday, by the way. I had to go through and sand the entire frame down again because we got moisture in here from the temperature changes. And the frame had a little bit of rust on it again, just surface. But I took it right off with the wire wheel and I did the whole entire thing again. I had no choice, I had to. So, as of right now, it's pretty much ready to go. All we have to do is drop the bed on, really, after the front end stuff's done. Which we're going to probably go and get all that done this weekend. Do those brakes, do those shocks. And this thing should be pretty much ready to put the bed on, which hopefully will be happening here in the next week or two. We'll be getting that put on. But yeah, you can see this thing's surrounded by plastic. And that's pretty much so that this thing was able to heat this area. Actually, it was up to like 60 something degrees in here a couple times. It was pretty nice. But we had to surrounding it to keep it, you know, that temperature in here, because you can't paint when it's too cold. So, but it worked pretty well. Some of it fell down over there, but it's been holding up pretty well. It's just held up there with staples. But it worked, and it stayed plenty warm enough in here with the wood burner going. I don't have it on right now, so I don't really think there's any reason for me to. But I'm really impressed with and happy with how this thing came out, other than finding that little stupid thing over there with the shock. And this is the only other hole right here. You can actually hardly see that now. I don't know if they'll fix that, or they might just say it's alright. But this whole shackle needs fixed, so we painted just because. But they're going to have to probably redo that somehow. But other than that, this thing doesn't need that much more done to it. I mean, we're pretty much done with what we can do on it, other than, like I said, the brakes and putting the bed back on. But I have to order a new filler tube, not those, but the one that's in the bed. Because, here, I'll show you the old one. This is the one from the old bed. That junky thing sitting over there. And we were going to use it, but we found out that, well, there's a hole there. And there's a hole there. And they actually had like a cloth or rag or whatever you want to call it wrapped around it. And to stop it from leaking, here is, well, here's the old shocks. There's one of them. For some reason, there you go. Here's the one. I'm not sure what side it is, but it doesn't really matter. But there's holes in it all over the place, and there's like no fluid left in these things anymore. And just other miscellaneous rust pieces. What the heck is this from? Oh, that's a bed rail from the old bed. I was wondering, like, there's the old rotors. So I'm going to get a little bit of scrap money out of all this, which is alright. This thing's getting really, really close to being put on, and I'm going to definitely try to record that. I'm going to probably have a couple cameras out like this and the GoPro, and possibly even my phone, recording different angles just in case I miss something. I don't have to worry about it. But anyways, I think that's pretty much it for this. For the first nice day, which won't be for a while, but the first nice day, this thing's going to go out and get a big bath. Inside and out is going to get washed. And it should be pretty easy to keep this thing clean though now with the paint job on it. I think it looks much better. It's all Rust-Oleum primer and paint that we used. And that red oxide, you can actually see some on the fuel tank straps. Those still need to be painted. But it's red oxide primer, which is like the best stuff in the world, it seems like. It works really good. It sticks to everything, so it doesn't let loose. That's what the Brindley plow is painted with. That's what the blade on the front of the tractor is painted with, or primed with, I guess. But it's all Rust-Oleum paint that we've used on that, and it holds up really well. I'm gonna try to get this thing cleaned off. We got a little bit of primer on it. I'll get it off one way or another. Yeah, that's not good. I'm about to get a new one of those eventually. I think the bed should actually cover that, so you're only gonna probably see this much. But maybe one day I'll get a new one of those. I don't know. Actually, today I gotta get the wiring harness out of that, because my dad really does not feel like wiring the connectors and everything, and all we would have to do is plug them all back in again and it'd be ready to go. So But technically, if I go in there and turn the lights on, these two should come on possibly, unless you have to have the key in it. Or my batteries are dead again. I've been having lots of issues with that. No. No, they're not gonna come on for some reason. Yeah, I've been having problems with the batteries going dead because they're, old and crap, and they won't start the thing up. So we have to put on the battery charger. But yeah, that's the way it is. I'm gonna get new batteries when this thing's going on the road anyways, because, well, why not? So pretty much that's it, and hopefully you enjoyed this, and stay tuned for the next thing of putting the bed back on. That's gonna be pretty much what finishes this thing off. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching.